Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, first of all, thank you to John and Patrick for the plates. Patrick from South Africa for the Delboy plate, thank you for that, that's very cool. That must have taken a lot to get that organised, I really appreciate it. And thank you, of course, to John in Canada for the Ontario plates. The letter tells us that they're very special to you, those plates, as is often the case with people. They send us their special, cherished number plates so they can see them on the wall here. And for us, they represent a view around the world who considers and regards us. So we thank you so much for that. All these are marks of friendship, they're mementos and tokens of esteem. So we thank you for all of that. Thank you, John. Thank you, Patrick. Really appreciate that. Right, today, a lathe project number 8. I'm going to do a little lathe project, like I said in the last video, as it says in the title, Crash Bungs. Now, this is a standard crash bung. I'm sure we've all seen one of these before. You bolt them on your bike sacrificially, so if the bike falls over, when the bike falls over, that hits the ground first, and it protects the frame, it protects the fairing, all sorts of things from getting damaged, because that's far more expensive than one of these. These are just made from plastic, a very hard plastic. I don't know exactly what they're made from, but I hope it's what I've bought, because I'm going to make some. Today I got a set of plans through the post from a friend of mine. There we are. He wants 2 100mm versions of this, not tapered like that but straight, because he wants to put his feet on them. He wants to be able to kick his feet forward and use them as highway pegs. The material I've bought for it from the internet is this stuff. This I think we all refer to as Delrin. I think its proper Sunday name is acetol or acetol, but I think Delrin is a brand name possibly. Some of you knowers out there might tell me, but that's what it is, it's that stuff. From what I read on Wiki and the like, it's an engineering thermoplastic, a super hard engineering plastic. And it can be machined and cut to accurate tolerances. And of course, when I compare this crash bung to it, honestly, it's exactly the same. That is exactly the same material. Okay, chemically it might not be and all the rest of it, but looking at it, feeling it, everything else, it feels exactly the same. So I'm hoping I've got the right material. I need to make 2 100mm items, and I've got a 350mm piece. It's 57mm that way. It needs to be 50mm according to the drawing, so I've got a bit to shave off. So that is the project for today on lathe number 8. So eyes down for a full house, let's get stuck in. the stuff you peel off, and it's completely harmless because it's soft. Normally swarf is lethal, so that's one little bonus. Here's the actual waste, the solid material that I can use again. Now I could have probably done this differently. I could have cut that piece off and then still made those two, I reckon, but I wanted to make them precision, and that always ends up with bar ends, little bits of weight. So there we go, that's it. I can use them for other things, little spacers and whatnot. That will make some great spacers. Now this stuff, acetol, Delrin, call it what you like, it's quite expensive. That one piece, 350mm by 57mm, that was £17 from eBay, and that was a bargain. You know, you can look at that normally and you pay about £30 for that, so it's quite expensive stuff. So for anybody who says, can you make me a set though? Well, I could do, but it's expensive, and it's just as cheap to go and buy some. It really is. These are custom made. They have to be exactly the same size. They have to be 100mm in width so that the guy can put his feet on them. He wants to use them as forward pegs, highway pegs, like to put some grip tape around them and just use them to put his feet on. So it doesn't really matter if they're not polished, you could just polish those, that's not difficult. When they're turning in the lathe, you can just use a little bit of fine sandpaper and then polish, get them up like a mirror finish. So anyway, that's the original one. Get this little ferrule that goes in, it's the first 30mm that goes in there, so that fits in nicely, and that stops it crushing, like I said. And you've got a big 20mm hole to get your Allen head screw down and a tool and do it up, and that stops it crushing. Job done. So there we are, made those for a buddy. Excellent, good fun. Now Delrin acetol, never turned it before, absolutely weird. It cuts completely weird. If you take a really thin cut, it kind of just peels back on itself like a skin. It's very odd, and I'm sure I used the wrong tool and the wrong speed and did it the wrong way and everything else, but you learn by doing it, and I've learned a great deal today from doing this, and that is what that lathe was all about, is to teach me new things, new skills, and to learn stuff. And cutting this acetol stuff is completely bizarre. It's totally different to cutting metal in every way. It doesn't need any form of lubricant. You just drill it slow so it doesn't get hot because it's plastic rubbing against metal, and it does overheat and then you'll melt it, so da da da. But anyway, there we go, that is it. 2 Crash Bungs made for a friend, quick project, easy. There we go. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.
I might call the riot. I might wind up dead. 'Cause there ain't no smoke ring or a halo around my head.
Right, here we go. Now that's all the swarf and the mess. And it's great because it's completely harmless. You can't hurt yourself with it at all. Normally swarf is lethal, but that's brilliant. It's just like ribbons of plastic. So I don't need that. Right, there's all the swarf. And the great thing is it's absolutely harmless because it's soft. Unlike normal swarf, which is lethal. That stuff is lovely. You can do all sorts with that. Or probably not. Anyway, there's the actual waste. That's the solid waste part. What is that, about 120mm? So yeah, I did waste that. I could have cut it into 3 and made 3 separate, well, 1 slug for later and 2 bar weights. They're not bar weights, they're bungs. Right, how much fun was that? There's all the swarf. Oh my goodness. Now that is weird to cut, weird. Right, now there's all the swarf. And it's completely harmless, which is completely lovely. No, it's not. So that's all the swarf. It's brilliant, it just makes masses of it. And it's harmless because it's soft. Now, that's the respect.